was supposed to be responsive to the camera.
Just smile. Just smile.
Be yourself.
Welcome all to my speech. Today I'm going to talk to you about scrapbooking. I don't know if any of you scrapbook or if you've heard about scrapbooking and what impressions you have of scrapbooking. But a lot of people think it's something that, you know, stay-at-home moms do, make little cutesy scrapbooks for their kids, or, you know, ladies who have no time or lots of time and nothing else to do, make them of their trips and they give them to everybody and say you have to look at them. So I'm here to tell you a little bit more about scrapbooking and what's involved and how it came about. First of all, scrapbooking has been around for many years. Aristotle and Cicero were the first known scrapbookers, so that's many years. They had albums. They weren't really like albums as we think of albums, but they would write their rhetorics, their speeches, their philosophies on tablets. And in fact, the word album comes from this time, meaning white paper or white table that the praetors used to scribe their speeches on. Scrapbooking continued in some form or another through the centuries, but it really got big in Victorian times, where people would put calling cards in, they would put Christmas cards, they would put little diary entries, newspaper scraps, and in fact Thomas Jefferson loved to scrapbook. He would collect newspaper clippings from his years of presidency and put them together in his scrapbooks. Another big scrapbooker is Mark Twain. Mark Twain, he devoted entire Sundays to scrapbooking, and he also made a new kind of book, first of its kind, that had gummed and non-gummed pages so people could stick things in. He made almost as much on those as he did his other writings. So then, but after World War I, things kind of got a little worse. There was a recession, scrapbooking companies went out of business, plus with the invention of the camera and people taking more pictures and the mass producing of photo albums, it was there was less and less scrapbooking. Then we came up to the 70s. Alex Haley, in his Roots, made a resurgence in people wanting to know about their genealogy. So that led to people wanting to make more scrapbooks, and in 1980, Mary Ellen Christensen of Salt Lake City put on display 50 scrapbooks that she had made herself. And people were so interested in them, she decided to create a company and made the first scrapbook store in Utah, and she also put out a book called Keeping Memories Alive. So now we know a little history about scrapbooking, and so what is scrapbooking? Scrapbooking is various things. Most people think of the albums, and you guys can come up and look at these if you have time. Albums can be a lot of different things. You can have, this one's a post-bound album, and you can open it up and see that there are little posts in there, and you can remove these posts to put more pages in or take pages out as needed. There's other kinds of books, which I've now dropped, and these are spiral bound. These are made by cardboard. These are entirely put together by themselves, and you guys can look at these. And as this one shows, you don't have to have just the square shape. This one was made in a shield for my son's wrestling when he was regional champ. So we have the albums. And what do you put in the albums? You put paper in the albums. Paper comes in lots of different varieties. So you've got paper that's already printed, and this one happens to be printed on both sides, so you have a bigger choice. You've got different sizes of paper, different colors of paper, different textures. This paper is very textured. This one is like a plain, you know, a more fancier thing than just a plain paper, but isn't distracting. Then you have printed papers. This paper was printed for like trips and things like that. so you can use those as backgrounds. You have various ways of cutting your paper. This is just slides back and forth. You insert your paper, slide it back and forth, and you have a beautiful cut. You can also use templates. Come in various shapes and sizes. You can use them to cut out little templates. You can use them to cut out little templates so you can stack them up on each other. You can use hole punches. This is another type of hole punch that will put a decorative edge on. And this is just a little hole punch that will make little holes in there. You can also use a die cutter machine. Now this is just one of the many, many things you can get for the die cutter machine, and it has lots of different things you can make. As I will show you later, some of the things I made with it. So now we have our paper, which should be acid-free. What are we going to put on it? How are we going to put things together? Lots of different types of glues. Spray-on, sticks, liquid, and you also have these dots. They're kind of hard to see, but they're sticky on both sides, so you can stick things to each other. Glues should be acid-free as well and approved for photographs, because if you use things like white glue or rubber cement, you can ruin your photographs. So how do we decorate the pages now that we have them stuck on? There is lots of ways. There's scissors. These scissors have a little edge to them, and so when you cut, you get little edges. The stamps, like I said before, will give you a nice little edge. You have various, these are brads, various decorative brads, various stickers you can buy. They come all kinds of ways, rhinestones. There's pens, lots of colors, lots of tips to write in your scrapbooks. There's ribbon, there's stamps, so you can really do whatever you want with them. There's also letters that come pre-made, so you don't have to make them. So you can really decorate the scrapbooks any way you want. But if you don't want to do a scrapbook, you can do other things. Maybe you want to have a barbecue, so you can make your invitation just by using a piece of paper, gluing another piece of paper on, putting some decorations on, and then filling in what you want. If you don't want to do that, you can do a Christmas card. Again, just a little piece of paper, glued on ribbon, glued on decorations, and the inside you can put whatever you want. If you want place settings, you don't want people at Thanksgiving to get mad at each other, so you can make little place settings for everybody. This is something quick and easy to do. If you don't want to go that far, you can make napkin rings. Put the napkin rings. You can do both if you want. So you just need to remember that scrapbooking is a hobby anybody can do. You can make it as simple or as complex as you want. But just remember, what we're doing here is we're trying to create precious memories.